Sometimes we need to be careful that we don't overestimate the power of evidence in somebody's life. And here's what I mean. It's not unusual for a skeptic to say, look, if God would just appear to me or do some dramatic miracle in front of my eyes, then I would go to God, that kind of thing.
I'm sure that's true for some people, but I'd need to see something that is more parsimoniously explained as a miraculous occurrence than illusion or hallucination.
But I think they may overestimate their willingness to do that. People sometimes are so set in their own views that even if something powerful and dramatic happens, they still won't change it.
Yes, theists are a prime example of this. Some Christians say that even if the Bible said something as absurd as 2 + 2 is 5, they still would not doubt its authority. Abraham was willing to believe that Yahweh is perfectly good even after being instructed to murder his son.
And this happened in Jesus' life. You remember at the end of his life, just at the beginning of Passion Week, Lazarus died and Jesus makes his trip to Bethany. Lazarus is out. He's 3 days in the grave, and he does this spectacular miracle and raises him from the dead, calls him forth from the grave. And what is the response of the non-believing Jewish leadership to this unbelievable miracle? Many did believe, but when it came to this particular group of people, here's how they responded. They said, we've got to do something about this Jesus, because if he keeps doing all of these miracles, people will believe in him, and the Romans will come in and take away our nation and our situation, and we can't have that. Notice what they said. If he keeps doing all of these miracles. In other words, they acknowledged this tremendous miracle that he just performed. And so instead of dropping to their knees, they said, we've got to get rid of this guy. And they stepped up. They're plotting to kill Jesus. But it wasn't just Jesus. Lazarus was walking, breathing evidence of Jesus' messianic power, and so they had to get rid of Lazarus too.
Even if we are to assume that this story is true, it in no way shows that the Jewish leadership refused to believe in anything that was plainly evident. Insofar as Christ's miracles were evident, they believed that they occurred. It seems like the only thing they didn't believe was that Jesus was worthy of being worshipped, which is something that just didn't logically follow. Even if Jesus did these miracles, you can't conclude that he therefore is God, or that he is the Son of God, or that he is the prophesied Messiah. As Christopher Hitchens said,
and it wouldn't prove that any of his moral teachings were thereby correct. Nor, if I was to see him executed one day and see him walking the streets the next, would that show that his father was God, or his mother was a virgin, or that his teachings were true. So I'll give you all the miracles, and you'll still be left exactly where you are now, holding an empty sack.
And there in the next chapter, John chapter 12, you see them plotting to kill Lazarus. Now, I call this unbelievable unbelief. There was the evidence right there before them. Lazarus was alive. And instead of responding and putting their trust in God's Messiah, they wanted to kill Lazarus as well.
Seeing someone do miracles is not a sufficient reason to believe that they are worthy of trust or that they are a God's Messiah.
For the person who says, look, if God just does some dramatic miracle, I'll go to God, don't count on it. If God appeared to them, they probably, as one wag put it, wouldn't go to God, they'd go to a psychiatrist.
Yeah, if a God appears to you, you should go to a psychiatrist. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.